just in
our dealings, and
may our work prosper for the good of all.
Amen.
I would also like to give acknowledgement of country. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we are meeting. I pay my respect to their elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. Councillors, as is normal with council process, this meeting is live streamed and also to be recorded for accuracy of minutes going forward. As everyone is present, there are no apologies. Any disclosure of conflict of interest, please?
No.
Okay, thank you. The next item of business is 7.1, the Community Engagement Policy for 2021. I'll hand over to Mr. CEO, who will then lead us through this with one of his officers, please. Mr. CEO. Derek, we can't hear you. Sorry, Mr. CEO, can't hear you. Okay. Still, can you hear us, obviously? Okay. Is Sally, Sally, you want to lead us through this? Perhaps you might have more luck with your speaker, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. This policy comes to Council as a requirement of the Local Government Act 2020, which was changed last year. There is a requirement to adopt and endorse a new community engagement policy by the 1st of March 2021. A particular attention paid to the requirement of deliberative engagement and Council's commitment to how we will engage with the Moorabool Shire moving forward. And so we have a new policy for Council that Council has seen, and obviously the Council report accompanying that.
Thank you, Sally. Councillors, is there any questions, or there's a motion there before us? There was an attachment with the policy and its completeness there. So somebody wish to move the recommendation on page 6, please?
I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Dudzik. Seconder, please.
I'm happy to second.
Councillor Berry. I'll put that. Is there any dissent? I'll put that. All those in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Next item of business is item.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, Councillor Ward.
Yeah, I had problems with Zoom then. As I stated earlier in the briefings, I'd like to see one of the councillors sitting on the Customer Experience Steering Committee.
I can't hear Councillor.
Sorry, Councillor Ward, you're breaking up there a bit. We're only getting every second word. Sorry.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can now, please. Thank you.
I mentioned earlier, I'd like to see one of the councillors sit on the Customer Experience Steering Committee. I think that'd be very important because we obviously are subjected to a lot of feedback. So I think it's important that as part of this plan that we are one of our representatives sits on that steering committee.
Is that something you want to sort of follow now, or have it followed up at another time when this document gets a bit more traction?
With respect, Mr. Mayor, we've already moved, second, and accepted this.
Yeah,
would have
true.
to come in as a new motion, so maybe a motion should be prepared for what Councillor Ward suggested.
Okay, well, look, I think that's a fair call. It has been moved and seconded, but on that representation, is that something you would like to come back at a later date, Councillor Ward?
Yeah, I'll support the motion as long as we can accept that as a secondary adoption at a future meeting.
Well, I think it's sort of something that have to come up as a separate matter because at this
point of order, didn't we vote on this?
No, hasn't been put yet. Oh, well, I'm just going to put it.
Yeah, we did. We voted on it.
I need a retake. Yeah, I think we did actually. So, but anyway, taking on board what Councillor Ward said, we can sort of, I think, perhaps he could just follow that through at some future time. So we did actually vote on. Councillor Dudzik, you're correct. Next item was item 8.1, which is Councillor Code of Conduct. So I'll hand over to whether it's Troy there, Troy or Mr. CEO. Just to lead us through. Okay.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. I'm having trouble with my video. With regards to the report, it's a report presenting the Councillor Code of Conduct, which has been updated to reflect the required changes of the Local Government Act 2020. In relation to the report, some of the key changes revolve around the fact that there are now prescribed standards for councillors to follow, and there's been substantial changes to the process of which complaints can be heard that have been submitted by either council under resolution or by individual councillors or groups of councillors. So there's been an addition of, sorry.
Keep going.
There's been an addition of a new section, new definitions for serious misconduct and gross misconduct, and they're addressed within the amended Code of Conduct that is presented here tonight. One of the things that I would like to mention, Mr. Mayor, is with regards to the voting on this, all councillors will need to be seen on screen for the voting because 75% of the councillors must vote in favour of the Code of Conduct under the Act. So they need to be seen on screen because we are live streaming the event.
Okay. Councillor Tatchell, is it possible when the vote comes, you're able to have your video on then at that stage, please? I know you're having some issues with your computer, but that might...
I can organise it.
Thank you very much. Councillors, we have a recommendation there on page 13.
Councillor Ward has his screen off too.
Oh, sorry, that's it. Yeah, Councillor Ward, sorry.
I'm
Yes,
back on.
Thank you. Councillors, we have a recommendation. They're moved by Councillor. Is that a question, Councillor Berry? Or
Yeah, it is a question. Sorry,
Yes,
I'm not
please.
sure on this screen where the hand goes up. So
I think it's physically hand, I think.
Okay, cool. That's all good. No, I just wanted to ask a question on the Code of Conduct because I understand it needs to go through fairly quickly. Can I ask the question about when we're able to revisit this? Can it be quarterly or half yearly? How does that happen if something needs to change in the Code of Conduct?
I think point 2 on the recommendation is to commence a comprehensive review in August 2021. I think that's probably, we're meeting our statutory obligations by adopting it this evening. But
okay, thank you.
Point 2, I think, gives us that scope to revisit it and to make sure it does really meet what we requirement. Perhaps, okay. Troy, you wish to add to that, please?
Yes, certainly, Mr. Mayor. Through you, Mr. Mayor, the Local Government Act enables us to change the councillor code of conduct at any time. So if councillors felt that they wanted to review it every 6 months or every quarter, that's entirely up to council to decide. But in relation to that, the only requirement is that 2/3 of all councillors must be present at the time it's considered and adopted.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. In consideration that this is really only some minor amendments to ensure that we meet the statutory obligations of the new Local Government Act and that we were given a fairly short time frame, I'd like to move the motion, noting that it's a full review will start in August.
I'll second that if you like, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councillor's clear on that. We have a mover and a seconder, I think, which captures the what people are desiring to get out of this. Is there any dissent? I'll put that. All those in favour, and bearing in mind we all have to show our hands, so it is carried unanimously. Thank you. Given that that's the only other item we have on the business paper and there's no other matters to discuss, I'll close the meeting. Thank you, councillors, very much for your participation and involvement, and have a